What? Tell us that.
So while we are waiting for Colby, I will go ahead and bring us in. Welcome to Rime of the Frostmaiden. We are going to roll 20. We've got some issues in the area with the Delta variant of COVID, so we are going to sequester ourselves away for a bit and see what transpires in a month or so. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the Friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. If you're watching on Twitch, if you scroll down, you should see some tiles there. If you do not see the tiles, please click on my profile image and those tiles should pop up. The first on the list is the Speechless Bard. She and her husband make leather products for your tabletop role-playing games, such as covers for your core rule books. She has a full line of dice bracelets in multiple colors, and she has a dice rolling mat that when you roll it up, it looks like a spell scroll. If you are going to order from her, keep in mind that she is over the UK, so be sure to give yourself a little bit of extra time. It takes a while to get over here and cross the pond, as they say. The next on the list is the Fable Beard Company. Fable Beard Company makes beard products such as oils, balms, butters, and co-wash. They now have a new line of deodorants and spray-on colognes as well. And each of their scent profiles is a different fantasy character. I'm sure that they have a character that will suit your needs. And if you are a first-time purchaser, they have a buy one, get one free offer. If you put 2 beard oils in your cart, create an account, put 2 beard oils in your cart, and then if you use the code FIRST, they will discount the second beard oil to free. So, let's see here. So yeah, Colby's the only one that I haven't got set up for his profile. So as soon as he can log in, I can get that done.
He is a big fat maybe.
Oh, jeez.
I know. So, until it is yes, just assume it is no.
All right. Okay. Well, if that's the case, hold on here. Want me to adjust some things.
Oh, by the way, teleport. Oh wait, no, you guys already know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Rhonda.
Yep. No, we know. Today is her birthday, right?
Yep.
But also, Telfar's not going to be here.
Well,
Yeah,
right.
also,
yeah. Go through and lighten this load up a bit. Okay. All right. So where we left off 2 weeks ago, I'm back from vacation. Where we left off, you guys were planning on going back and dealing. You know about the small Duergar Outpost. And you have suspicions that it is probably has something to do with the missing items from Caer Konig. That the Silver Dragon speaker of Caer Konig, who was stumbling in the snow drunk, told you that there were items being stolen. So you make your way back to Caer Konig, which is a very short distance from Caer Konig. And before you head out to... you already know basically where the Duergar Outpost is. Did you want to stop in town or go straight to the outpost?
Well, we should stop in town and
I think
check
we
to
should
see
stop
what's
in
going
town.
on.
Okay.
I'm gonna go feast.
So you stop in Caer Konig, and you come into the Northern Light Tavern, where you had met the two sisters that own the Northern Light. Remember, they had the lantern hanging over the front door was stolen, and since you've been you see the two sisters in here, and Allie and Corey are the Sherrard are the owners of the Northern Light, and then sitting in there are several patrons in there, and sitting at the bar, looking fairly rough. He hasn't gone out for his nightly patrol yet, but you see Speaker Trovis already well into his cups, and you learn that there have been some more things that have been stolen, and one of the things that was stolen was an entire shipment of Mithral ore was stolen in a cart from that these dwarves had rolled into town and were staying for the night, and their cart was stolen with a load of Mithral ore in it. And there was rumors going around town that this Mithral ore was special in some way. Now, whether that's true or not, you don't know. But word around town was that this ore was in some way magical or in some way special, other than, Mithral usually is.
Well, are those dwarves available to talk to?
Yes, they have rooms here at the Northern Light.
All right. Well, if it's not bedtime or something, or they're available, then we will seek them out to learn about their misfortune.
Okay. So, Allie tells you that they are upstairs and gives you the room numbers. Not that there's that many up there, but, you go upstairs and you knock on the door, and a communal room, there's like 5 beds in this room, opens up, and there are these 3 dwarves that are in here. And he's got thick red beard that's been braided into multiple braids, and he says, "Oi, what can I help you with? Are you taking the other 2 beds?"
Well, no, my good man. Not that we had thought about that yet, but we had heard about the theft that you suffered, and we wanted to learn what was going on with that, because we're going to be heading out into the wilds and might be able to uncover some evidence, or maybe find the people that are responsible. We wanted to hear more about it.
Yes. We were taking a load of ore down from a mine at the other end of Kelvin's Cairn, and we were trying to get over to our main mines, but we took the surface routes due to some strange activity in the caverns, strange goings-on, cave-ins, and the like. And then we decided to stop here for the night before we're continuing on, and somebody stole our cart. That cart is worth a good amount of gold, I'll tell you.
Well, it seems that there's snow everywhere. Was there no evidence of who might have taken your cart? At least footprints, or?
Oh, we saw numerous boot tracks, but we didn't see any sign of the person. And then as we followed the tracks, the winds had already started to blow over them, and the weather is changing around here quickly. He points off in the direction towards Kelvin's Cairn. It could just be completely general, but it looks like he's pointing towards the direction that would lead towards the Duergar Outpost.
Uh-huh. Well, we'd also heard some stories that this ore was special in some way. Is there any truth to it?
He kind of laughs and says, well, it was Mithral.
Well, yes, indeed. So how much was there in terms of weight, volume? How much are we looking for?
That's a good question.
What?
I can give it to you in gold pieces. He says that there was about 1,000 gold pieces worth of Mithral ingots. They had actually already smelted them into ingots.
This is not just rock waiting to be melted down. This is valuable.
Yeah, these were already made. Yeah, these were already made into clan battlehammer stamped ingots.
Aha. Okay. Well, I'm glad I came and talked to you. I was wondering if we were going to be looking for piles of rock that had been pickaxed from the mountain's interior, or I come to find we're looking for bars of gray metal.
Yeah, essentially, he tells you that each ingot is worth 50 gold pieces.
All right.
And there's 1,000. So this cart weighed a lot. So, and he tells you that they were using a team of mountain goats to haul this ore, and they had. He says, well, we had two full teams, so we're looking at 20 mountain goats to pull that cart. I can't imagine what would have... They just came up and stole it in the middle of the night. I don't know how they would have done that.
That is an incredible feat. So where were you headed with this?
We were headed back to the Battlehammer Halls in Kelvin's Cairn, on the far side of the mountain.
Let's see. The map that I grabbed doesn't have Kelvin's Cairn. That's the one. Is that the mountain that we found?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's really, aside from the Spine of the World mountain range, Kelvin's Cairn is basically the largest peak in Icewind Dale.
Aha. It's an amazing coincidence. We have just come from that peak, and I'll proceed to tell him a harrowing tale of our going up there and finding Yetis and such.
He says, yes, the Yetis have been quite enraged in the past couple of years due to the forever winter that has set upon the Dale. If you were to assist us in getting our ore back, we could be very generous should you need the assistance or a place to lay your head at night if you're in the realms of the dwarves of Kelvin's Cairn.
We are always in search of ways to help our fellow man. And that includes dwarves, of course. That's just a turn of phrase. Well, I have some small ability with magic that I've just recently come into. So, with your permission, I will conjure up a map of Kelvin's Cairn, and perhaps you could tell me where we might be able to meet you should we find this without having to make you cart all of that back up to that spot.
Oh,
we
certainly.
could also bring it here, but if we find it somewhere and it turns out it's easier to drop it off somewhere else that's more convenient to you, then we could do that.
Certainly. And
all right, so I'll pull up a 3D map using silent image of Kelvin's cairn and shape it and adjust it per their direction and try to figure out where we might meet them or where the Dwarven enclave is or something.
So he shows you that there's a mine entrance, and it's actually not very far from the Duergar Outpost. It's maybe a mile from a mile north of the Duergar Outpost and slightly higher in elevation, but it is not far at all.
Well, and that will lead us to talk about how we saw the Duergar down in that valley, that rift, whatever, and that we are thinking that we're going to head in that direction to find out if the Duergar are connected to all of these thefts that have been occurring, and that's perhaps why we might come across their ore in the first place.
So he immediately, you can see his face turn red, and he grinds his teeth a bit, and he says, he tells you the Duergar are found all over Icewind Dale recently. They seem to be searching for something. They had better not be at the fault of my ore disappearing, or else it could be war.
Yes, I understand there is little love lost between the Duergar and the dwarves. Not that any Duergar would be a friend of mine. I don't imagine that they have the same interests of civilization at heart that me and my friends do.
No, they would just as soon enslave everybody they find. They are without honor.
Indeed. Well, all right. So, let's see. So we're going to go up there. Our plans are to travel up there, investigate the Duergar, stumble into whatever we can, and if we find out what the Duergar are doing, and I'll mention to the dwarves, and we'll get their names, but I can't remember them. But I'll just use the first letters and get their names wrong over and over again.
Right. Yeah, I haven't given them names.
Mentioned that the Duergar were involved in this abandoned inn that we stayed at when we first came through Caer Konig, and how they attacked us and we had to fight them and killed several of them.
Do you go into details about the battle in Caer Konig, or rather Caer Konig at the end?
Oh yeah, we'll bond over our hatred of the Duergar if such is possible.
Make a charisma check.
Charisma. Yeah. Oh my God, that's just terrible. How can I get 2 1s? All right.
You're a warlock with low charisma?
No, I got +5. That's why those are 6s.
Oh, okay. So he says, really, you had to deal with that kind of assault from the Duergar. And he says, on second thought, if you find the ore, don't come back to Caer Konig. Deliver it directly to us at the mine. And he turns to the other 2 dwarves and he says, pack up, boys, we're leaving.
Oh, well, I hope I haven't upset you, but we certainly will meet you at the mine should we find anything at all.
He says, no, friend, you've given me valuable information and I need to pass it on to my kinsman.
Certainly. All right. Anything else, guys?
I think we're good.
All right.
Let's see. Is there any other stuff that we should get while we're here. We're trekking across the frozen lands when it's like 20 below zero. We've been ignoring it to some extent, assuming that every once in a while we get dogs and a sled and such.
We should invest in like a wagon or something.
I'm thinking, we've got some money right now. We probably ought to just take care of that while we're here in town. And
okay, give me 1 second here, and I will come up with pricing for your sled. But I have to put my air conditioner in. I'm much warmer than I thought I would be. Although I am loving the cooler weather.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice.
Well, my Texas upbringing, I'm glad someone's enjoying it. I like the sun, and give me the beach days where I'm sitting out sweating in front of the pool.
Yeah, I like that too, and I'm perfectly okay, but when it starts climbing over 100, I'm like ready for it to be done.
Well, I am an unusual Texas boy because I like the 100. I'll go out. My friend and I went go golfing, and it was like 112.
Oh, God. No, thanks. I'll be right back.
Yeah, my grandparents were Swedish.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I like the cold a lot more than I do the warm.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, that's a very common thing. My wife likes it cool by far.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I need to ask Chris about? Mammoths. Because I think they are in Icewind Dale.
Uh-huh.
And you can technically ride it as a mount, because in the player's handbook, you can buy an elephant for around 200 gold.
Question is, can you tame it?
No, I'm pretty sure they come pre-tamed.
If you're buying it as a mount.
And vehicles.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about just finding one out in the wilderness going, I'm going to ride it.
No, I did some research about that.
What are you looking for?
Yeah. Mammoths.
So,
it's not a huge priority right now, but mammoth, like as a mount.
So mammoths, yes, they are used as mounts. No, you're not going to find one in town.
Yeah, I know.
And, I mean, it's most of the time, no, they're not domesticated. But the Reghead barbarians out on the Reghead Glacier are known for being mammoth riders.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that could be a possibility in the future, yes.
Sweet. I think that'd be really cool.
Actually, they just came out with a mini for that.
Yeah.
And there's a barbarian, and it comes apart at the waist. And so you can put regular legs on him and use the barbarian as a mini, or you can pull the legs off and put him on the mount of the mammoth, where his saddle has legs that attach too.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's kind of the like what they did with Aviatris, the dragon, where you can take off the harness with the dead wizard in it. But with him, it's just he's got two different sets of legs, one for riding and one for standing. I can only imagine that many is like $400 because they want ridiculous amounts of money for some of their minis now.
Yeah, they do.
Like $700 for the fucking Tiamat.
What?
Yeah, premium
Whoa.
Tiamat. The premium Tiamat is going for
PS5.
Yeah, the premium Tiamat mini is going for $6.99. The prices I've seen, and I mean, it is an impressive mini. When I say mini, if you put it in the middle of my gaming table, there wouldn't be any room for you guys to put your character sheets.
It's just...
Yeah, that I'm not shitting you. That's how it's as big as it's bigger in diameter than the battle board that I have on the Lazy Season. It's huge, but it is pretty cool. I mean, I was looking at it, I'm like, that would be damn sweet. But kind of the same reaction I have to the Falling Star sailing ship, which I still want. But my question is, when I'm not using it, where am I going to put this thing? I mean, I had to get rid of some furniture in the game room to make some space in here. Where am I supposed to put this? You know?
Yeah, that's not going to work.
And of course, you buy something like that, and you're like, I want this. This has to be out. This has to be like, you know, a show. Whether I'm using it or not, people want to look at it. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to put it. So you guys want to buy a sled, which will cost you about the same as a. Where's my equipment chapter? As like a cart or a wagon. Now, of course, you need something to haul this sled. So let's see here. Oh,
that's what we have our barbarian for.
So a sled, and this is like a, this is like, you know, a dog sled, will cost you 20 gold pieces.
All right.
And a team of dogs.
That's fun.
So a team of 4 sled dogs will cost you 100 gold.
All right. And
we may need more than that too.
Well, yeah, we're definitely going to get multiples of these because, yeah, we'll need like probably 4 of these or something like that.
Okay. Well, you could each get one. And I would give you 3. So 3 sleds would be 60 gold pieces, and with dogs, it would be 300. Total would be 360 gold pieces with dogs. And these would be yours to own. You're not renting them.
Yeah, this just makes the story move on faster. But I just want to make sure that we're in my head. We're not trekking through the snow at minus 40 degrees and not caring a whit about it. That makes sense.
No, well, you are dressed in cold weather gear. But yeah, I mean, at night you're not going to say, oh well, we'll just keep trudging on. Considering that you only have maybe 4 or 5 hours of dusky daylight a day, and the rest is all night, you're only getting 4 or 5 hours of decent travel time, and then you want to really think about making a camp and a fire, because if not, you're going to, even in cold weather clothing, there's a very good possibility that you could freeze to death. and that's not just by, trekking through, you're going to gain levels of exhaustion for traveling round day. But more so that you're more likely to have a mishap at night, and because of the darkness, somebody's going to die. So, and that's just reality.
Oh yeah, people die going up Everest just because it's cold.
I mean, and it's a good idea. I mean, obviously, this is a good idea. You're in town. This last vacation, we were up camping. It was just me and my wife, and I got up in the middle of the night because I had to use the bathroom, and there was something in our camp. It wasn't very big, and it was dark, and I couldn't tell what it was, and it ran away as soon as it saw me, and as soon as I turned on the lantern. And I saw the movement, which is how I knew, but it looked like it might have been a wolf pup, or honestly, to me, it looked like it might be a badger or something, but I don't know. And those are almost worse than the wolf. But
oh yeah.
But it's like the next day, my wife says, "You know, what if it had come at you and you know, we have no way other than the knives that we have. We don't have a gun." And she's like, "If we're going to keep going up camping, we need to get a gun. Period." And she goes, less so for the wild animals that will come into the camp that might threaten us, and more so for the crazy fucking people that are up on the mountain.
Yep. That's the worst predator you're going to run into.
Exactly. And so, yeah, we are in the process of nothing big. Probably just going to get like a .22 Magnum revolver and just keep that as the camp gun. But, yeah. I'll tell you, when I rounded around that tree, I almost had to do more than pee, because I saw that thing moving, and I mean, it was low to the ground, but it wasn't small, and I about shit myself. So, yeah. Been going up there for 40 goddamn years, never saw anything in the camp until now. So I was like, yeah, no. And when I say that I saw it in camp, it was like 5 feet away from me. It was like right there, and it turned and booked it. And I was like,
yeah,
you know, that got my... I was awake really quick. So...
Yep. I'm glad he took off, because one of you was going to be leaving quick.
Right, yeah. And no, it took off running, so, I mean, thank God for that. Honestly, I know this probably sounds terrible, but I would feel worse and more guilty if I had to shoot a wild animal than I did if there was some a-hole threatening us coming through our camp.
Yeah.
I would have a lot less sympathy for the a-hole.
They're actually asking for it now.
Right.
Wild animal. He's just like, he's starving, just looking for food.
Right.
Well, hopefully you never have to find out if either condition in reality.
Amen. But better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So.
Oh yeah, totally.
So, so
we're going to spend 400 because we're going to get like 3 tents, which are only a couple of gold pieces.
Yep.
And we're going to get pots and pans and all that. We want all the crap so that you can survive while you're out there.
Certainly. Yeah, you got to get your blue porcelain enameled mugs and your percolator coffee pot.
Well, how big is a dog?
Well, they use wolf statistics, so they're not small.
Okay.
But I would say, I mean, wolf statistics, that goes anything from a Siberian husky up to the size of a full-grown wolf. I would say that they're probably in the range of like a Malamute, which Malamutes can get pretty big.
Well, Sam, if you're thinking about writing one, they've got the Mastiff in here for 25 gold.
That's true.
That I think is specifically for small creatures to ride.
You could ride a wolf if you wanted to ride or you could ride one of the sled dogs if you wanted to ride a sled dog. They don't have any Mastiffs here. This is all cold weather dogs.
Ah, okay.
And
We just don't want to get full on sled steam for like a little halfling.
Yeah.
A few halfling sized things.
Sure.
Like probably carry.
When we're doing this, how much does it take to take care? Is it significant when we come into town to have people take care of our dogs and all that jazz?
No.
Okay.
In fact, it is, let's see here, I will say, so if you are looking at a stay in a modest inn, per day is only 5 silver pieces. For boarding the dogs, you're looking at like 2 silver pieces.
So if we go up to 400 gold when it's only like 360 for the dogs and the sleds,
right?
We can probably just say, okay, we've prepaid for services and we've got all our crap.
Oh, I would say that you've prepaid for services. If you want to come back into Caer Konig, your stabling is covered.
Okay. All right. Done. I'll just subtract it from my money and hit you guys up if we come up with a situation where we can make a ton of coin or citizens need help. So.
Sure.
Minus 400. Alrighty.
So the dwarves are leaving tonight, and of course, what little sun there is has already gone down. They're leaving tonight to get up to their mine. He feels that this information that you have given him about the Duergar battle you had in Caer Konig is too important, and he has to tell his clan now. They need to know about this like yesterday. So the question is, are you also going to leave tonight, or are you going to stay a night in the inn?
I think we've taken care of all the stuff, and we should go.
Okay.
Yeah,
what do you guys think?
We go.
Okay. So, since Crypt is the is the barbarian, I will have Crypt make a survival check to see about leading the party to their doom. I mean, to where you need to go.
That is 13.
That's pretty good. So you head up into the foothills of Kelvin's Cairn once more. And you kind of, if you're looking at where you had gone originally, where the base camp was for the climbers, this time instead you kind of hang a right to the east and kind of go around that base camp and head up, and you find a small, barely moving creek that is coming down the mountainside. And if you are on the Roll20 map, if you go all the way to the bottom and all the way to the right, you will see your tokens.
There we are.
There you are. And so there's this very frigid creek that's coming down, and it's moving slowly as if it is right on the brink of starting to freeze over. And you can see every once in a while coming down the current, you can see chunks of ice. All of this grass and dirt around you is frozen solid. It is.
How wide is the stream? Looks like 5 to 10 feet.
Yeah, it's negligible. Even Turpin could jump over this creek.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you might still hurt your hip, but you could jump over this creek.
So this is like a 2.5 foot wide thing, almost stepping size.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I would say 3 feet. It looks like there's about a foot on either side. I'm looking at this one square that it's almost perfect that there's about a foot. So about 3 feet wide.
All right.
And like I said, it looks like ice water coming down. And let me check something. Okay. Let me change these guys.
I like Sam Schmarble.
Mm-hmm.
And what is this structure that we've come up across?
So you see that there is a two-story bunker that's kind of roughly hewn out of granite and stone, different stone, and from up there. Oh, I doubt this is going to hit anybody. Sam, does a 15 hit you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That marks something awful.
I'm probably the easiest. I am a 10 armor class character.
Oh, jeez. So
it's easy to hit me. And did we see this on the map when we were talking about, things along the way for with the dwarves?
You didn't really see this part. You had seen you probably would have seen the top, very top of the bunker. But you mostly saw that they had there was behind the bunker carved into the walls this outpost. So Sam, a heavy crossbow bolt shoots out from the bunker and hits you for 5 hit points.
Oh my gosh, we're under attack. It's not bad enough that the weather is trying to kill us here.
Oh, that hurts. A little.
All right.
Hold on just a second. Everybody roll initiative.
It's not enough that nature's trying to kill us. We've got our fellow man turning his hand against us.
I put my initiative in the turn order.
Cool. Yeah, you can put your own initiative in. Okay, so Crypt, what would you like to do?
So those guys are in a watchtower?
Yeah, they're in a bunker, kind of an octagonal. I wouldn't necessarily call it a watchtower, but yeah, it's like a 2-story tower.
Okay, so I am going to walk over there. Like this.
Okay.
Do they have arrow slits?
The guy, you can, as you're heading over there, the dwarf that you can see at the top is much larger. So he is a Duergar. He has used the enlarge ability. And he is standing at the very top, firing down from a parapet. He's not inside.
Ah. Is there any way I could get up there? I do not have any ranged attacks.
You could certainly try to climb it.
stick to the walls to where they can't really get you, because they've got a dead zone when you're just hugging the wall.
Okay. And yeah, I'll do that. You want an athletics check, I assume?
Yes.
So that we're seeing this top-down picture, and we can see baddies, but they're really enclosed. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay.
26.
Okay, so you are climbing up. Meanwhile, over here, this guy opens a door and comes out here. Hold on. Before I do that, double check something. He runs to there and is going to throw a javelin at Sam. But I'm sure he misses with a 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm sure he can't see me if I just threw my hands up in there like, what did I do? And then that I'm in my room and not in person.
Chirping.
The ballista bolt came from this one tower we're dealing with, and not this thing up to the north and west.
This guy up here has a heavy crossbow.
Heavy crossbow. Okay.
So Turpin, what would you like to do?
Oh my goodness. Assaulting wayfarers. This is just ridiculous. What has this world come to?
I'm going to complain to the travel board.
Yeah, when I was a kid, you would invite people in from the cold. This is just ridiculous. I will... Oh goodness. Okay, well, I leveled up because we're all like level 4 now, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
We are.
And I took my whole deal with my genie master was learning magic, so I took the tome and an invocation that lets me... No, I haven't got the invocation yet, but I have the tome, which gave me some extra cantrips.
Nice.
So... since we're out here, I will try to use, I don't have it, so screw that. Fine, we're just gonna run. I'm gonna run 30 feet. That's as far as I can do. I can do a dash, right? So I'm gonna go. I gotta go hide, man. We're gonna get shotted. So I'm gonna. Actually, this is probably all difficult terrain, and we're in our sled dogs or something like that.
So,
unmounted. What's the situation?
Interesting that you bring that up. So, where you are at, from the river to here, where this lighter color is a 40-foot rise.
Oh my goodness!
But it's a gentle slope.
What, 40 feet in?
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
10 feet.
It's 10 feet. So the river, the creek is minus 40. This is minus 30. This is minus 20.
Ooh, that is severe. So this is like a 45-degree slope here.
This is minus 10, and up here is 0. So yeah, it's difficult terrain. However, you're in a sled being pulled by dogs. And the wolf actually... Hold on here. Oh, it's in here.
Yeah, I would say trying to get up that hill is going to definitely be difficult.
The sled dogs have 40 feet of movement. So you could have them dash for 80 feet.
Maybe, yeah, okay. I mean, in game terms, but in reality, going up a 45-degree slope, I would have called that difficult terrain. But
yeah, except that they're pulling a sled, which is just sliding right through all the ice and the snow. So you're definitely better off on a but you're definitely better off on a sled than you are on a foot, unless in this case you were wearing like snowshoes, which you would still have your movement, but dogs don't have that problem.
All right. Well, I will take the angle here and go 40 feet up to here with the dogs. So let me move, pull, mush, whatever the words are. You dogs, move. We're getting shot. And as we come up to this point, I'll say, you brought this upon yourself, and I'll blast him.
Okay.
But I only rolled a 13 to hit, so that'll end my turn.
No, 13 misses. You hit the side of the tower, or the bunker.
I was shooting this guy that's in the... I can't even see the guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you still miss. So you shoot off and blow a chunk of... a big blast of snow powder comes out, but you miss him.
As I tell him to stay off my lawn.
Yes. Sam, what would you like to do?
Can I cast sleep?
You want to cast sleep on him?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Well, you certainly could. Yeah. So, let's see. Sleep is, what, 5d8? Were the hit dice? So go ahead and roll your 5d8. Oh, yeah. This guy kind of gets woozy, and... Let me see if I got a marker for this. Yeah, that works. He gets woozy, and passes out, and it just falls straight backwards in the snow and is laying there, snoring. Congrats on being the one and only person I've ever seen use sleep and have it work. Is there anything you wanted to do with movement and or a bonus action?
I'm just gonna... run this way. My non-dog legs.
Okay. Alright.
Does that mean you're getting off your dog or you're on your dog? Okay.
I wanted to shoot.
Okay.
I'm on the dog. They can shoot the dog.
Brogic, the Duergar, goes back here, opens up a trapdoor, climbs down a ladder, and is inside. That is his action. Crypt, you climb up to the top, and you see that there is a trapdoor.
I jump in.
Okay. You jump in. Make a strength athletics check.
That is 15.
Okay, so you jump in and land, and you see this Duergar reaching over and attempting to open another trap door in the floor.
Is he 10 feet away? Is he at least 10 feet away from you?
He's like 5 feet away from you. You land right at the bottom of the ladder.
Okay. Can I attack him?
Yeah.
Okay, I will make an attack with my halberd. And I will probably destroy him.
Probably.
Oh my god. This is stupid. Natural 20 to hit.
All right. Double damage.
Sounds like you were dropping from the ladder with the halberd point down.
Right.
Yeah. 40 damage because it was a crit and I have Great Weapon Master.
Okay. Yeah.
40 slashing damage.
Yeah, you basically cleave this guy, and he drops to the floor twice.
Oh my! Why? Why do I need a nat 20 now?
Well, you know, whatever.
You need a strength check to see if you can dislodge your halberd from the corpse.
So in this room, there is a trap door inside the tower. There's a trap door on the floor here. There is a door here.
I'll walk out the door.
Okay.
And I will, like, start waving around, like, hey, guys, come in here. There's things that need to be seen.
Okay.
I'll come. I will get the sleeping. I guess that's a Duergar.
Yeah.
And disarm him. He's laying there in the snow. So disarm him and
he's asleep.
Tie him up good and haul him into
the blankie.
Yeah, he'll die out there. So haul him into the tower.
Okay.
And I'll see the blood dripping down from the trap door above the basement, the bottom floor here. Just kind of bite my lip. All right, and
a reminder: sleep lasts for only a minute.
Yeah, yes, right. So it has to be done quickly.
So this trap door inside here, you open it up, and there is a short ladder that goes down, and then there is a rough-hewn tunnel that climbs up and continues on into darkness at like a 40-degree angle.
Is there a place for our sled dogs and all that jazz? Can they come inside this base, or is that
you could shelter them inside? Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see if there's a key so I can lock it.
There is no key.
Then I will do what I can to barricade the door to prevent any more Duergar from attempting to come in here from a blind spot.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to be gone for just a second.
Okay.
Keep on going. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, Crypt and Sam, who's going through the tunnel?
I will.
Okay.
Grip guys.
Will.
Tell my good old trusty dog, who I have named Sally Schmarble, be a good girl and stay here. I will be right back.
Okay.
I'll go.
Please do not die.
Don't kill my dog. So, you follow this path, and you get up to the end of this tunnel, and you see that there is another trap door just above you, and you lift it up, and you are standing inside the fortress. Piles of equipment are pushed against the walls of this room. In the southern end of the chamber, you come out of a hatch that reveals an underground passage to the tower.
Awesome.
In here, there are 2 suits of scale armor that are sized for dwarves, 2 steel shields, 3 war picks, 9 javelin, 2 climbers kits, and 4 mess kits. I don't know if you guys want any of that.
I'll take I'll take like 5 javelins.
Okay.
Because I don't have a ranged weapon.
Okay.
Let's do what? 1d4 damage?
No, they do better than that. Let's see here. Javelins. Javelins do 1d6 piercing damage.
That's not bad.
And they have the thrown property with a range of 30/120.
Sweet. Okay. Better than nothing.
Yeah, javelins are actually pretty good. You can also use them as like a spear. You don't have to throw them. They're actually quite handy.
I'll keep a couple of those on me. And, are we in this room? Are we in this room?
You're in... Well, I mean, if you're picking up javelins... And Sam, are you going through the tunnel as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Popping my little head up.
I'll just assume that Turpin is also going.
Yes, Turpin's back.
All right. So, Crypt went through the tunnel. You guys followed him into a Duergar armory. There are 4 javelins left. 2 scale mail suits of armor sized for dwarves. 2 steel shields. 3 war picks. And 2 climbers kits and 4 mess kits.
Oh, I thought it said meth kits at first, and I just went, alright.
This whole place smells like cat piss. I don't know what they're doing in here, but...
Well, if it's a meth kit, we can blow this whole place up, right?
There's 2 bathtubs, a snowblower, a lot of copper tubing for some reason.
And a video of Breaking Bad is
And a video of Breaking Bad is playing in a snow globe.
My sister and I have been watching Breaking Bad. Pretty good. I like it.
I'm gonna go up here and stealth.
Okay, go ahead and make a stealth check. Okay.
I might need to get out a different die.
So you stealth up here. Man, these Duergar are stupid. So, did we lose somebody? I think
No, I think everybody's still here.
Okay. Huh, weird. So, this Duergar, here's Crypt picking up the javelins. Because, I mean, you're grabbing them, they're like clacking around, and, you know, it's like trying to pick up like an armful of pool cues. And says, this guy here doesn't hear anything. And this one, Ernhild, says, hey, go check out what's that idiot doing in the armory. He's supposed to be in the bunker. Go check on him. And this guy turns and starts to come this way. He does not see Sam. What do you guys want to do?
Could I make a stealth check?
Sure.
Okay. Sweet. 17 isn't that bad.
Okay. And Turpin just freezes where he is.
Hide behind a corner or something.
Yeah.
Good man.
Hey, the best stealth is if you don't move at all.
Yeah. I stopped breathing.
Can I
I mastered the ability of moving so incredibly
Yeah,
so I'm invisible.
I was just gonna say, like Drax
to the
from
naked eye.
from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
Guardians of the Galaxy is great.
That movie, those two movies really made me like Dave Bautista. But I'll tell you, where I found out that Dave Bautista is an excellent actor is if you watch Blade Runner 2049, the opening scene. He is an awesome actor. I mean, it totally took me off guard that was him.
Okay.
A man that large you expect to be always put into a bruiser, you know, the obvious action hero role. The guy that carries the biggest guns, does the biggest damage. And that's not how he is in that at the opening scene in that movie. He's just a normal guy trying to live his life. Except that he's a filthy skin job. Anyways. So, you two, what'd you get for your stealth check?
17.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. He comes over here.
If I can, I will move across behind the corner right here.
Okay.
So that I can stab him if he comes through.
He gets to about here, and he says, he turns and looks at the female Duergar, Earthild, and he says, well, there's nobody in there. She says, well, I heard him in there. Well, if he was, he's gone now. He must have gone back to the bunker. She says, all right, keep your eyes open. And he just comes over and starts looking out across the parapets into the valley, coming up through this, near the bunker.
And they didn't see our sled dogs.
Your sled dogs are in the bunker now.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what Earthild was doing before. She really has no business chiding the other guy about not paying attention, evidently.
I want to knock over one of the barrels without compromising myself. Would I have to make another stealth check if I did that?
You would.
Okay. I'll risk it.
Okay, so you kick over a barrel, which makes plenty of noise, and the javelins go flying out all over the place, making a ton of noise. And both of these guys turn. Everybody roll initiative.
Four for trip.
Wow.
I tripped on the barrel.
Let's see, Turpin, you got 13?
Yep.
Sam, you got 5?
No, I lost my die.
Oh.
Found it again. Oh. That's
The
much
time-honored time-honored tradition of finding your dice on the ground, seeing what it rolled, and if deciding whether you want to take that or throw it on the table.
Right. See, whenever
I'm in bed.
it's so funny.
Lost them on my blankets.
It's so funny when you guys come over. I can always tell when people have lost some dice, because it seems like nobody ever really says anything when they lose dice, and then they leave, and then for like the next week, my cat just keeps bringing me dice, and I'm like, and she'll like drop them in front of me, and I'll pick it up, and I'm like, this is not one of my dice. Just keeps digging them out.
I always keep track of my dice. Dice trays are awesome about that.
Yeah, yeah.
And also being level 1 and only using like 3.
Right, right.
It helps when you're not using your dice.
Well, yeah. Yeah, kinda.
Then you don't have to take them out.
That's true. Like, right now, my biggest problem is space. Says every DM ever. I don't have enough space. Alright. So.
Yeah, who knew that the mind could take up so much space?
Right, yeah. Well, I'm convinced that dungeon masters are like crocodiles or alligators, that they'll grow to the size to fit their tank. So, like, you know, oh, well, I got, you know, a 5-gallon tank. Well, guess what? You're going to end up with a 5-gallon alligator. So that it will fill every corner of that aquarium. All right. So this Duergar, with his epic passive perception of 10.
What about my 24 initiative?
Oh, you got a 24. Okay, sorry.
Do you want Crypt to make another stealth check?
Not yet, because you would have to make it on your turn, because you're not a rogue, so you cannot make it as a bonus action. Yep. So, Sam, what would you like to do?
I'm going to unstealth, walk over here and just be like, hey guys, sorry for the noise. We were just newly initiated and they told us to come down here.
What? You're telling him what?
We're new initiates. They brought us to that bunker over there and told us to come down here and grab some gear.
Tell them we're all changelings. And that's what the benefit is. We can all shapeshift and be spies.
So here's my question, Sam. Did you change to look like a Duergar?
No.
Okay. They're like, there are no initiates.
There weren't any before.
Yeah, they're not buying it at all. Like, no role required. These guys are only Duergar. There's no initiates, and you are clearly not a Duergar.
Dang.
Well, crap.
So you still have an action. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna cast Charm Person at 2nd level to target them both.
Okay. So they got a whiz save.
Flash.
Let's see here.
So much easier.
So
my stuff is mind. Fucker. Yeah. I want to use it for once.
So what's your spell save DC?
15.
So this guy got a 17. He is not charmed. And Earthhill. Earthhill gets a 12 and is like, oh yeah, man, like, okay. She is now charmed by you.
Okay.
This Duergar, he's like, no, that's bullshit. And he's going to come up here and try to whack Sam with his war pick. Ah, shit. And he gets a nat 1.
Yay, Team Duergar.
And promptly falls prone, slipping on the ice, you know, as it were. He is now prone in front of Sam. Earthhild is like, hey man, that's not cool. And comes over here and she drops her heavy crossbow and attacks with her war pick. That's not good for him. She gets a soft 20. Oh. Oops, wrong dice. For 13 points of damage. Oh, and he's prone. Hold on. Yeah, only 13 points of damage. She bashes him with her war pick. Turpin, what would you like to do?
What is it with you stinking Duergar and all the violence? Okay, so he's prone, huh?
Yeah.
And the other one's acting on our team at the moment.
Correct.
So I'll move over here and say, I guess it's time to clean up the vermin, and I'll blast him. Because there's, what are we gonna do? I'd take him prisoner, but
so
we
two
can't
things.
deal with all these prisoners.
So he's prone, which gives ranged attacks a disadvantage.
No problem.
Okay.
I'll do the disadvantage.
All right.
Let's see. I'm setting up for advantage. There we go. That's what I want right there. Looks like it's 12.
No, 12 misses.
That's all right. Turpin's a soft-hearted guy at this point.
All right. You're just like finger gunning walls. Crypt, what would you like to do?
I will move over to here. I'm no longer stealth, and I will just make an attack on the prone dude.
Okay, you have advantage on your attack.
Okay. That's way better than in that one. 14 to hit.
That is a miss.
Did you use advantage?
Huh? Yes, I did.
Okay.
That is a miss.
Okay.
He's rolling around and twisting on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's, and as a bonus action, I'll just enter a rage.
Okay.
Would that immediately allow me to use my tail or no? Because
No.
I'm pretty sure the
on your next turn. Because that would be a bonus attack as well. So.
Okay.
Sam, what would you like to do? You have advantage on the guy laying on the ground in front of you.
I'm gonna disengage and back up.
Okay. I think Sam started getting whacked on. Is there anything? Well, disengage was your action. You backed up. Anything with a bonus action?
I'm gonna give Mr. Barbarian. I'll learn your name in a year. Don't worry. Bardic inspiration.
Okay. So what kind of is that? A D6 he gets at?
Yeah, D6.
All right.
Sweet.
So the Duergar is going to spend half his movement to stand up. And he is going to backhand Earthhild with his war pick, and he's yelling, "Snap out of it!" But he misses with a 9. And Earthhild is like, "You leave my friends alone!" And she misses with an 8. Maybe it's...
They're slapping.
Yeah, they're having a slap fight over here. Maybe it's time to not use that dice. Use this dice. Alright. Turpin, what would you like to do?
Well, okay. He's a much bigger target now, so I'll shoot at him again
Alright.
with a 17
That hits.
and 16 damage.
Oof. Oof.
Oh, let's see, I'm level 4. Does that mean I get...
Level 5.
It's 5 when I get a second one. Yep.
Yeah, level 5 cantrips are boosted.
And he goes down.
And stay there.
Anything with a bonus action or movement?
I don't know if it'll help any, but I'll cast Spare the Dying on him, since this is, I'm all about the magic, and being able to save someone's life's better than not. He may be dead, but
So
I'll do that.
Spare the Dying just basically stabilizes them and leaves them at 0 hit points.
Yeah.
So he's still unconscious.
Yeah. Which is like awesome magic for me. I'm like, holy crap, I can actually heal people.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least keep them from dying.
Oh, yeah, Spare the Dying is a great spell when you've got party members that are having to make death saves because death saves that's brutal.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna feel all good using my magic and save his behind and ask the charmed one could you help secure him and
Oh.
we don't want something's come over this poor fellow, and we've got to make sure he's not able to hurt himself or other people. So
Earthhild's like, oh, absolutely, and she bundles him up and drags him back here and uses some rope from the climber's kits to tie him up, and she basically ties him up to a practice dummy in the armory.
Okay. And we'll make sure he's gagged so that he doesn't make too much noise. And I will just say, well, we're kind of new here. What's your life like? What's the story in here? What are you guys doing?
She tells you, well, we are here with, we are warriors for Nildar. Hold on, I need to find his full name. He is important. Nildar Sunblight. And Nildar Sunblight is searching for Chardelaine. And she tells you that Nildar is searching for this Charlene and delivering it all to his brother, Dearth.
Why all of the military power? I mean, this sounds more like a mining operation than, or perhaps a sifting, or...
She says
What's this?
She's not sure what Dearth is going to do with all the Charlene, but she knows that, she says, oh, great things are going to happen, brother. As soon as he's done with his schemes, we'll be taking over all of Icewind Dale.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, could you maybe not? Like...
Has it ever occurred to you to not do that?
Be pushing them out of their comfort zone for what a Duergar is. So was it Sam who charmed that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sam, let's have a little discussion here just for a minute. Excuse us.
Okay.
So Sam, how long can you hold that spell?
1 hour.
Is it gonna drop at the worst possible time, i.e., saving throws later on due to taking damage?
No,
I'm just gonna walk over
it just
and
happens.
Okay.
Well, if we whack him, it'll end, but...
If we do.
Yeah.
I want to whack him. I want to whack him real good.
Hold your murderous instincts just for a second.
But I'm in a rage still.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. I was.
Well, okay. We can't
leave him.
Was this the lady or the guy?
This is the woman. This is a female Duergar.
Okay. Well, what do you plan to use her for?
No.
I mean, okay. Well, we can tie her up too. Of course, we can always kill her. It just seems kind of.
It just seems wasteful.
D&D.
It's kind of.
We're all murder hobos.
I was thinking she could give us a tour. Help us find ourselves around.
Well, we got enough. We can't really do a whole lot. I mean, if we're yeah. So, find out how many are here.
She tells you. She says, "Let's see. There is there's the twin brothers, Scorn and Rivik, and then there's Nildar and let's see. There's one other Duergar guard, and she says, oh, and then there's 5 spore servants and an ogre zombie.
Wow. I've never heard of a spore servant. What are they like?
So, spore servants are, hold on, and I will tell you what spore servants are. Okay. And she tells you where all these guys are. They are, you can scroll around the map and see them now. I think that's all of them. Yep, that's all of them. So spore servants are They are dead humanoids who have been infected by myconid spores from fungus and risen with fungal intelligence. They're basically like mushroom zombies.
Right. Hey, so Sam,
So the last of us, then.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, except that spore servants in D&D have been around a lot longer, but yeah.
Yeah.
and Cody, you're Jock?
No, Brady is Sam.
Brady is Sam.
Colby is Jock.
Right.
Okay.
Colby's Jock.
So that's who we've got right now.
You just have Crip, Turpin, and Sam.
Oh, Colby's not here, so...
Right.
All right, gotcha. All right, hey, Sam and Crypt, come on, can I talk with you guys? So these are all... It's hard for me to come to this conclusion, but even though these guys think they're basically evil, right? There's nothing we're going to be able to do with this. We have to kill them all.
That's a safe assessment.
There's no dealing with these people.
Yeah, that's a safe assessment.
I mean, they're using undead, and they're shooting at us from before they even say hello. So, all right, I'm going to harden my heart. We're going to have to take them out.
I could just see it turn to the barbarian. Okay, go back into a rage. Kill them all.
Yeah. So how are we going to take care of yours? Just charge in, let her be on our side until she dies?
Probably.
Okay.
We don't make an effort to protect her, but we also don't.
Sam, can you
Hey, we're going to kill you.
We'll move ahead. Are you able, Sam, to take care of the ones behind us quietly?
I can kill the unconscious guy.
There we go. All right,
but I'd
moving forward.
rather just put wake him up, put a weapon in his hand, and then
kill. Okay, we'll do it on the way back.
Okay.
I'm not very good with quietly doing things.
You gotta fight them with a sense of honor and not freaking assassinating someone in their sleep. That's not.
All right. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Death. We're cleaning this whole place out.
Yeah.
All right.
It's unfortunate, but we're just genetic enemies. Okay, and we've got our friendly Duergar lady behind us, right?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Let me bring her along. And actually, I will give Sam control. So Sam, you should be able to move Earthhild around now as well.
Yep. All right. So Earthhill. Oh, you know what? There's a terrible, lethal infection that's running rampant through this place. We don't really have much choice. We're gonna have to kill them. It seems like you're clean, but do you think you could lure any of them into this room?
She says, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." She takes the point And as you guys come into the main keep area, the hall is devoid of decoration. A frozen well stands near a hallway to the east, and 3 iron cages are pushed against one wall. One contains a melodious ogre with rotting, half-frozen skin and an empty right eye socket. It howls in despair at the sight of you. Another cage holds a pair of nervous goats. The third cage is empty. Leaning against the wall near the cages is a wooden dog sled with ice clinging to it.
Looks like we found the goats. Or at least some of them.
I forget why we were looking for goats. Was I missing that part of the story?
Yes. There were mountain goats pulling the Mithral wagon.
Ah, gotcha. All right. Well, so are we letting Brunhilde, or whatever her name is, drag? Now, I am such a good old person. Drag the bad guys into this room for a slaughter where it's kind of farther away. We don't wake up the whole place, or are we gonna just follow along? Sam, she's your friend.
I was thinking we were gonna follow along.
All right, we're following along.
Not agitate anything, but also be there when things do go wrong.
Okay.
All right, Sam, do you think is that undead atrocity secure in that cage?
So the cages are they're made of iron, but this guy is an ogre, but and he doesn't seem like he's able to get out, and like he can see you coming down the hall and is like and coming around the corner is the Duergar, and he comes over to the cage and starts banging on the cage with the flat of his war pick. He's like, you shut up! Be quiet!
All right. So, Sam, what did you tell Brunhilde to do?
We're going to need to try and take them out quietly to not alert the others, just so we don't eventually have a horde of people who might be not mentally right in the head anymore.
Are you going to turn into a Duergar or anything?
No.
Okay.
Now that everybody's aware of your changeling secret?
Right. Okay. So I would guess that the female Duergar would tell this one over here, says, "Hey, shut up. Come this way. I found something."
So this guy sees Earthhild coming around the corner, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you at your post?"
You can't see?
And
Found something interesting. Come and take a look.
And
Don't know what to make of it.
She looks at him, and then she turns and she looks at Sam, and she goes, "I don't know, he smells all right."
And I'll say,
And this guy's like, "Who are you talking to? What's going on?"
Tell her to bring the guy in here. There's something very important, apparently.
Yeah, I'm gonna whisper, "Bring him here. I'll be able to better tell for myself."
This guy comes over here and he goes, "Oh, so there must be something going on." And he unlocks the pin for the cage, and the ogre zombie steps out.
Okay, that's not great.
All right.
Ooh. Oh, bad.
So Turpin uses his initiative to move about 15 feet further away.
So everybody roll initiative, and I need to find an ogre zombie.
I've been rocking these initiative rolls. I don't know if I've crossed 10 today.
All right.
That is a 9 for crypt. This sucks.
All right. The ogre zombie goes all the way in here, but as he passes Earthhill, she makes an attack of opportunity on him.
And she breaks his kneecap.
With a 19, so she definitely hits. Oof. For 10 points of damage. And he's like, "Argh!" And so he's pissed off, and he doesn't make it all the way in there. He stops and is going to swing on Earthhill, because that's just not right.
No.
Soft 20 to hit. That definitely gets her. And he's carrying a Morning Star and smacks her upside the head for 12 points of damage. Sam, what would you like to do?
Oh, I was just going to say, fun fact, Duergar brains are pink.
But they were blue.
That's mind flares. Okay, Sam.
Right.
I'm going to wait until the other Duergar.
You know, hold an attack until the other Duergar approaches.
Trying to make it shape. I cannot make a shape. This laptop's not meant to let me do what I want. So
It might be roll 20. We ran into a situation where somebody couldn't make a shape, and then when they could make a shape, they couldn't maneuver it or delete it, or none of us could activate it in any way. It was very strange.
no, it's because if I hold Alt and move the mouse pad, it registers it as clicking and holding.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I can't do Alt to make a circle and move it at the same time. But pretend there's a circle. Pretend that square is the radius of a circle.
For like $10 on Amazon, you can get a Jellycomb Bluetooth mouse. That's what I got for my tablet. It is fantastic. So
once he enters like that radius, basically,
So, like, here?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Charm Person.
Okay. Alright, so you are readying a spell. He gets to right there. So you can go ahead and cast your spell. He will try to save. No, he gets a 4. He is also charmed.
Alright, I think he's clear. I see him. He's alright.
The ogre zombie is like, what the fuck is going on? In his undead voice. Come on, cooperate with me. Sorry, I'm going to get rid of your shapes. They're in my way. So the Duergar is going to throw a javelin at the zombie. Nat 20. I knew I had it in me. He hits the zombie with a javelin for 7 points of damage, and the zombie's like, ah! Crypt, what would you like to do?
I will move right here, just up 5 feet, and make an attack from 10 feet away.
Okay, do it.
First, I will enter a rage.
Okay.
Actually. And that is a total of 18 to hit the zombie.
Yeah, that hits.
For 25 points of slashing damage.
Ooh. Let's see here. Okay. Zombie is bloodied.
Not very happy.
No. Turpin, what would you like to do?
Pew, pew. Oh my goodness. I blow my end of my fingertip
if
off.
you're firing from here, you're at disadvantage because you're firing through Crypt. And evidently Sam.
Yeah.
So you get another. Wow, shit! You can't get any worse than a nat 1, can you?
Yeah, my fingertip just blew off.
Go ahead and roll damage.
9.
So, Crypt, you're standing there. You just get done whacking the zombie, and an eldritch blast smacks you in the back of the head for 9 points of damage.
Oh, that hurts, but not that much.
Oh, now I got a headache. Now I'm really raging. Somebody get me a stress ball. And there's another first. First time ever anybody has gotten a nat 1 on a range attack when shooting through their party and accidentally hitting one of their own party members. I've been waiting for this for like 5 years. I knew it was coming. Sooner or later, that was going to happen. The zombie is going to attempt to smack Earthhild again. 23 definitely hits.
Oh, bye-bye.
Oof. Yeah, 14 points of damage. Earthhild dies. He just brings the Morning Star down, and you see the top half of her just kind of go poof, and like her head is driven into her chest cavity. And then with his movement, he goes over here because he's not going to have any of that. Especially getting attacked by his own people. He's not okay with that. Sam, what would you like to do?
I cast Vicious Mockery on the ogre.
Okay. So is that a whiz save?
I think so.
I think so as well. Oh, mother of God. He got a 1.
Yeah.
So double damage.
That's going to be big time damage because 3 damage total.
3. So you can see that the ogre zombie kind of clutches his head for a second, and you can see like pus and blood coming out of his nose, and suddenly the air smells funky.
It has disadvantage on its next attack.
I am totally impressed. I don't know how you insulted an ogre zombie's mother.
Yes.
So hard.
Hey, ogre zombie, your mom.
I mean, it always works. Your mom.
Your mom's alive.
The Duergar hits the zombie with a 15. For another 10 points of damage. All right. Crypt.
Sweet. I will move over here 1 space and still attack him
Okay.
with my halberd.
Is that still 10 feet? Yes, it is.
Nice. 17 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
23 damage.
Okay.
And my tail attack.
Okay.
Also 17 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
It's 1d8 damage. 7 damage.
And the ogre zombie goes down.
Nice.
And the Duergar comes over and is like, ugh, poor Earthhild, what is going on? I can see that you're friends.
There's this wicked disease going around. It's affecting some of the people here. They start going mad, attacking each other. That's the worst body so that it doesn't spread to others. Quick, do you have any fire nearby?
You want fire?
Yeah, to burn the body.
He's gonna fill the whole place up with smoke.
Okay.
No.
Give me just a second, I'll be right back.
I was just thinking in terms of making this more believable. That works too.
Quick, let's all say we put on cloth masks. To encourage mask wearing and also to make the lie a bit more believable.
It's Duergar COVID.
Yeah.
That's why we're not Duergars, because anybody they send in here will get infected.
It's only for Duergar.
Right.
It's only a Duergar virus, and also dwarves. Just
But since
because why not?
Yeah, why not? Stinking dwarves.
See, I can't defend dwarves since I am not a dwarf.
In a past life, maybe.
But I think Norote is still like alive and somewhere in Waterdeep.
Yeah, but they don't have this disease on it, so they're fine. It's just here.
It's a magical curse. We'll call it. It's a magical curse disease.
Yeah, all of your characters are still alive. And living the life in Waterdeep.
They're unimaginably rich, especially Norote with his freaking fortune of gems.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. So, hold on here. I will give Sam once more control of this Duergar.
Just gonna start spreading
Chris,
them out every
Good
encounter.
question.
Yeah.
Do these Duergar have like Charlatan amulets as well?
No, these are not. These are not knights of the Black Sword.
Nothing Charlatan on them?
No.
They're just here, doing their thing.
Trying to get Charlatan.
Correct.
I'm sure there's Charlatan somewhere in this little hideout.
So, Sam, you have control of this Duergar. Where would you like to go next? So from this main keep area, this courtyard, there is this passage to the northwest, and then there is a passage to the south. Now, from what Earthhild told you, you know that the spore servants are kept in the passage to the south. And she says that also that is where their prison cells are kept.
Let's go this way.
Okay. So you guys can move yourselves over there. There you go. A long room.
What are we going to do about the guy with us? Are we just going to murder him real fast?
Now, the next people will probably do that for us, honestly.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
We had this conversation, and the spell lasts for an hour as long as we don't beat on them. So they're very useful for that period of time.
Let's kick down this door.
Well, we're here to take care of them. We should just open the door.
We should take it down.
Hold on
Have
just a moment. Let me look something.
Have the disposable meat shield go and do it. Open the door. Get the person out. Or not.
Okay. Or not, but I mean, it'd be cooler if I just stood at the doorway, making him not be able to move.
Yeah, I think I'm just picturing the charm spell more than it. Chris is letting us do more with it, more like dominate. But charm is like we're friends, and
right, and he views you as trusted friends, and
so we have a story of trust.
Right,
we're doing something good, and kicking open doors is contrary to that.
I guess so.
Unless we modify our story and say they turned violent. The only solution is to kill them all and give you a huge promotion.
Of course, that's why we have to see him first in order to see if he's alright or not. Because if he just starts attacking us on sight, then we know that he's already been.
Exactly. Right. That's the giveaway. If they're aggressive towards us, then they're infected.
That's a dead giveaway.
Uh-huh.
Symptoms: overly aggressive / nosebleed and headache.
Yeah. As you saw with that ogre over there, he was a very, very late stage.
Yeah. Okay.
A long room is divided in the middle by 2 open doorways. It stands empty. In the far southwest corner, an iron lever sticks out of the wall. So yes, here is a lever sticking out of the wall.
All right. Duergar number 3, would you mind opening the door? We want to see if everything's okay. Or if this person's infected or not.
Okay. He says, oh, that's Nildar's chamber. That's the commander's quarters. Nildar's in there. I'm sure Nildar's not infected.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be great. Then we'll just report our findings and let them know that the Duergar COVID team is here.
However, it is airborne, so he may already be infected.
Yeah, sure.
We just need to double check.
The sign is whether they become agitated and aggressive.
Okay. He comes over here, opens the door, and says, Nildar, are you okay?
Yeah.
And you can hear from inside, Nildar yells out, of course I'm okay. What are you doing in here, you idiot? So
we're the Duergar COVID team. We're here to deal with your infestation or your infection that's run rampant.
In this room, a stone-carved bed and desk occupy this drab room. Atop the desk are several shards of dark crystal, as well as a crumpled-up piece of paper and a burlap sack draped over a glowing object that emits colored light and shifts from blue to green to red.
Oh, great.
And over here in the corner, you see a chest that is open, and in that chest are Mithral bars.
Looks like we found what we're looking for, boys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Keep up with the act.
Turpin says, oh, crap. We found the source of the infection. And I'm not making any effort to not be seen or anything like that from this guy.
Okay, everybody roll initiative. He's not having it.
Yay!
Nat 20 for freaking Crypt.
All right. Okay. So, Crypt, what do you want to do?
I would like to waltz in there 10 feet away and attack with my halberd. Well, actually enter a rage and then attack with my halberd.
Okay.
17.
A 17 hits.
Okay, so that is 18 points of damage.
Okay. All right.
And that's my turn.
Nildar. Let's see here. Nildar enlarges. For 1 minute, the Duergar is magically increased in size, along with anything it is wearing or carrying. While enlarged, the Duergar is large, doubles its damage dice on strength-based weapon attacks, and makes strength checks and strength saving throws with advantage. If the Duergar lacks the room to become large, it attains the maximum size possible for the space that is available. All right. Turpin, what would you like to do?
Oh crap, it's a stage 4 infestation. And
Enlargement.
yeah. So I will back. Actually, I'm going to stay where I was. I'm going to see how does silent image work for area. I think it's 20 by 20. One second. Yeah. Say 15-foot cube. Right. All right. So I'm going to make this area here at this corner right here. That's 5, 10, 15. I'm going to fill this area up with fog.
Okay.
It's an illusion of fog.
Okay.
And I'm going to move to the back here.
Okay. All right. So you are obscured by fog.
Unless he disbelieves it. Yep.
Sam.
Well, he has to take an action to.
Yeah, he would have to take an action or touch it, or in order to realize that it's not real.
Right.
Sam, what would you like to do? Well, we're already into Anish, so we'll let it go this time. So, Mr. Sam, what would you like to do? That's true. Initiative is technically an ability check.
Okay, Brady. Are you talking and we can't hear you?
I think he might have dropped.
It's hard for me to tell on Skype.
Yeah, but man, the sound quality is way better.
Yeah, I only see me and Liam and you. Yep. Well, I was really pleasantly surprised with my mini that I got. It really does look good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I there you are. I like the stuff that Hero Forge does. We just ordered Kate's new mini, and I mean she needs to paint it, but and you know, death to me if I paint her mini. So so yeah, she's getting ready to paint it, and I think it looks really good. I think the boobs are too big. I mean, they're almost so big that they're in the way, but you know, hey, she's the one who picked it, not me. So, Sam, what would you like to do?
I'm going to disprove the fact that this illusion exists for me.
Well, yeah, you're probably aware because you're touching the border of it, so you automatically can see through the illusion.
Okay. I guess I need to go over here. And... Alright, that has a 60-foot range. I'm going to Vicious Mockery.
Alright. $16 to save.
He saves.
Haha.
Apparently, he doesn't like his mom.
Crypt, what would you like to do?
I will... Can I still reach? I think I can still reach him.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, no,
Wait.
I can.
Wait, before Crypt goes, at the end of Sam's turn, his Charmed Duergar can do something. Now, one of the things that your Charmed Duergar can do is they can also enlarge.
Yeah, sure, let's get big.
Okay.
Now, the commander hasn't attacked yet. So this might just simply be a stand down. The only person who's attacked has been Crypt.
Right. All right, so the Charmed Duergar also enlarges. There's a whole lot of Nutramax for men going around in here. Crypt, what would you like to do?
I'd like to attack the boss man with my halberd.
All right.
For 27 points of slashing damage.
Well, what'd you get to hit?
Oh, sorry, 17.
Yes, that hits.
No, 19. Whatever. And then for my tail attack,
Uh-huh.
I will do 7 damage.
All right. Okay. Nildar Sunblight is going to, on its first attack, swing on the enlarged Duergar with a nat 20.
Oh,
Yeah, he's dead.
that charm person spell is lethal.
For 23 points of damage, this poor Charmed Duergar is dead. He then steps over the corpse, and his second attack is going to be on Crypt. Mm, 13 to hit probably misses you.
It does.
All right. And as a bonus action, he reaches over and grabs an amulet around his neck and regains 10 hit points. Oops, that's the wrong one.
Hate it when that happens.
Turpin, what would you like to do?
Kapow! Oh, that was a crit.
Yeah, that hits. It may not matter that he got hit points back.
18 points of damage. And for a bonus action, I am going to telekinetically shove him 5 feet away from Sam.
Will you shove a corpse?
Oh.
Because you hit him and he dies. Your Eldritch Blast goes right through his chest, right where the amulet was. And he shrinks back down to normal dwarf size, and then you shove his corpse and he just crumples against the wall dead.
There's a smear of blood on the floor.
Yes. Let's see here. On the desk, you find a nice blood smear. On the desk, you find a letter written in Dwarvish. Does anybody speak Dwarf?
Let's see. My languages.
Not here.
Nope.
Is it in common? I can speak common.
It looks like I missed that, so I will. I thought I had set that up, but anyway, we'll collect the paper if we can't read it.
Okay. Let's see here.
Because once we finish here, we're going to go to go see the dwarves.
So,
since we found
Nildar has a coin purse on him that has 24 gold pieces and 17 silver pieces. You can divvy that up if you'd like. If you want, I can just do that right now. Hold on here.
Okay. And we found the and we'll gather all of the big clunky stuff after we've dealt with combat.
So everybody gets 8 gold pieces. And I'll just round it up. Everybody gets 6 silver pieces.
I think it says something about using some sort of amulet thingy.
Well, now, hold on here. So you also find the dwarves, and they're clearly the Mithral ingots. They're clearly stamped with the 2 crossed beer mugs, foaming beer mugs, which is the symbol of Mithral Hall. So these are clearly the ingots that the dwarves lost. You also find on the desk a bunch of pieces of chardolin. And around his neck, he also had a piece of chardolin. Now, that amulet is what he was gripping.
Uh-huh.
Turpin, make an Arcana check.
Scroll of Identify.
11. Oh, wait a minute. That's not true, because anything I have time to do, so 13.
So, you kind of have the opportunity here to go over this chardolin. And you determine that this is bad shit.
Ooh, this is not untainted chardolin.
None of the chardolin that you have is good.
Ugh.
Hold on here, and I'm trying to find a specific passage. It tells all about this. I thought that it was with these particular barbarians. I think I am still correct. Here we go. So, you determine that prolonged contact with demonic magic that is imprinted on the Chardolin may cause a form of madness that will slowly get worse and worse.
Sam, I think you've been... were you wearing that Chardolin sword necklace?
Yeah, just for that temporary tiefling thing that didn't work out.
Yeah. So, let me see. Prolonged contact.
And there's...
Otherwise, it's just been in my bag.
I'm pretty sure there's more to that. I'm trying to find it. Let's see... be... Sorry, I'm just trying to find this because this is actually pretty important. I mean, you got the gist of it, but so yeah, prolonged contact with this will cause you to go completely mad. Causing you to shift your alignment towards chaotic evil, turning you into basically a random murder hobo. I mean, not that this is something new for you guys, but like you'll just run around killing willy-nilly. Like,
so all of what we have is corrupted in some way?
Correct.
Hey, so we did find the source of this sickness.
Yes, you are down with the sickness.
Let's just leave it all here. Well, actually...
Yeah, you don't want to... I don't think you want to do that either. But you don't... So where is all of the Chardolin that you've collected now?
With Turpin. In his little... tiny hut thing.
In his lamp.
Home.
So if it's in Turpin's lamp, then you're probably safe. But you don't want to be holding onto this stuff or wearing it as a necklace or any of that. All of it is corrupted with demonic magic.
Okay. Is there any way to remove the curses?
Not that you guys would know of. Also, on the desk, under the burlap sack, remember, under the burlap sack, there is some kind of light emanating that comes out and it changes from red to green to blue, back to red to green to blue. And when you lift the burlap sack off of it, it is the lantern that hangs out of the northern light in the town of Caer Konig.
Okay.
aside from the color shifting properties of this lamp, there are no other magical abilities for it. So what would you guys like to do from here? Are you going to pack up the ingots and head to the mine? Or are you going back to Caer Konig?
I think we should go to the mine.
Okay. Now, I didn't have a map ready for this. Because it doesn't matter. It's all role play. So, Crypt, make a survival check.
That's not that bad. 15.
Okay. So yeah, 15's pretty good. You guys are able to haul these. It takes you a couple of runs, but you're able to haul these all of these ingots and put them into your dog sleds. And with Crypt's survival check, you are able to set course and you make it to this mine. Now, everybody make a perception check as you approach this mine.
Um, 15 again.
24.
18.
Well, 14.
So you all got it. As you approach this mine, it looks like, as you're approaching it, at first you don't see much more than what appears to be a cave. Then as you get a little bit closer, you can see that there are wood beams that are holding up the entrance. And then as you even get a little bit closer, you can see that there are Dwarven battle ragers that are hiding just inside, keeping guard. And you can tell a Dwarven battle rager because their armor has spikes all over it.
Ooh.
They are specifically designed for tunnel fighting, and you basically use their entire bodies as a weapon. And you know, both these guys are armed with shields and an axe. The shields are spiked, their armor is spiked, and their heads are shaved except for mohawks that are held up with what looks like probably pig fat and lard, and their hair is dyed like a bright orange, and they have tattoos all over their face. Battle ragers typically are not exactly welcomed in the clan because they are barbarian dwarves.
Yeah.
And they stay as far away from dwarven civilization as possible, but they are complete badasses. And these two see you coming, and they actually recognize you and welcome you in and bring you into this mine. And they bring you into the mine. It is dark in here. They are nice enough to ignite a couple of lanterns and lead you back in. One of them stays at the entrance. The other one leads you back in. And he takes you to a series of mine carts. And he tells you to get in. And he says, I'll give you a shove.
Thank you.
And so you guys climb into these mine carts, and he pushes the first one, and it goes rolling down the track. And as it's rolling, it starts to gain a little bit of speed. And then he shoves the other one, same thing. And you're probably about 30 feet apart. So, you know, that's good. And there is a handbrake on these carts. And you travel for probably about an hour. And you suddenly come out of the darkness into this large cavern that is lit by when you look down, the track is on a trestle going over lava.
Whoa.
And you come out on the other side of this chasm that is lit up by lava, and you start to hit your brakes, and you are now in what looks to be a small dwarven settlement.
That's cool.
You get out of your carts, and a number of dwarves come out, and they're like, "Oi!" You know, you can see that carved into the walls of this cavern, there's a small tavern. There's another opening that opens up into what looks like a keep. And you are greeted, and all of these dwarves apparently know who you are. And the 3 dwarves that you had met in Caer Konig come out. And they greet you, and they're like, "Oh, we are so glad that you made it. Did you find our ore?"
We did, indeed.
So we certainly just rip off the cloak of the stack of Mithral ore and tell them, "Yes, we have returned it to you."
He claps you on the shoulder, Turpin, to the point where your shoulder now kind of aches and you almost lose your footing. And he's, "Ah, ha, ha, good, good. You are excellent. You are all welcome here in our grand hall. Have as much beer as you want. We've got dwarven ale. Drink to your heart's content. There's red meat right off the bone on every fire spit in here. And I thank you for telling me about those Duergar. We dwarves are moving to action, but you have to realize the Dwarven Council doesn't move quickly. So, but we are doing something about this."
No,
We took care of a few back there,
yeah, we have
including
some
one of their leaders.
We should talk and tell you what we found at the whatever that fortification was.
Okay, so you are taken into a dwarven hall, and basically they have a feast, and you see he's not a king, and his name is Torval Braunanvil. And Torval listens to what you have to say. He's like I said, he's not the king. He's more like a duke or a baron,
Regent.
a regent. He lets you know that essentially he answers directly. He controls this region for the dwarves and this mine specifically, but if there was a hierarchy, he would answer directly to Brunor Battlehammer in Gauntlgrim. And if not Brunor, at least the Braunanvils, who are in charge of Mithral Hall. So, I mean, he's a big mucky-muck. And he thanks you for your information. He says, "Let me see that note that you found."
Yes.
It reads, "Brother, you will find me on the frozen ferry in Easthaven. From this new base, the search for Chardalyn continues. Long may our father rule over this dark land. Dearth." Well, it sounds to me like Dearth is in Easthaven. Perhaps that should be your next venture, to see what this dastardly man is up to.
You know, and when we were there, we
You guys actually haven't been to Easthaven yet.
No, we haven't. But we tell them about how we came across, we have quantities of Chardalyn and have the distinct impression that demonic energies might be tied to this, such that prolonged contact can corrupt people. And we're concerned about how to keep this from being a negative influence on the world.
He tells you tales of meeting barbarians in the mountains, even here on Kelvin's Cairn, that match the descriptions of this corruption that you speak of.
Do you know of any way to destroy the corrupting influence in the Shardlin?
Says no. He says that those shards come from the great crystal shard. Alas, it was lost by Brunar and Duergar.
And is there no good that can come from these? Because otherwise, if we could pulverize them, but even then, I don't know that would be safe to have it turned to dust.
He says, honestly, in my experience, only evil and death follow that damned crystal.
How do we dispose of it?
Says, well, you could leave it here, and we could see, I could send word to Gauntlgrim. Maybe Brunar has some way of destroying this crystal. But we never expected it.
Throw it in the lava.
Or you could throw it in the lava. He says, we never expected to ever see it again.
We have a small quantity of it, and we don't want it out circulating where people might use it in ignorance or on purpose. It needs to be eliminated if possible.
In that much, we are always in agreement. Sam, you're sitting there drinking and eating some wild boar that is roasted just perfectly. And you hear some other dwarves sitting around the table, and they're saying, I keep telling everyone, this everlasting Rime isn't the Frostmaiden's doing. It's actually the Arcane Brotherhood plotting another takeover of the Ten Towns. A wizard who was burned at the stake in Easthaven admitted to being one of them. And he said there are other Arcane Brotherhood wizards lurking among us. Valish Gant is behind it all, no doubt. The scoundrel is locked away in Revel's End, but that doesn't make him any less dangerous. Someone should find out what he knows.
Well, yeah, nice.
So, Sam, do you want to engage these dwarves in conversation?
Nah.
You're just going to listen?
Yeah, just listening.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll talk with the dwarves and talk about this never-ending cold. And my main focus is on the effect they're having on people. Like, how are the dwarves doing for food and things that, I've carted some small quantities of brandy around, and it has made me feel good to help people in this never-ending winter.
He says, whoa. Does somebody get half unplugged?
Yeah, that's
Oh, wait, that was me. Sorry.
No problem. So they tell you, the Baron tells you, he says, we have plenty of stock in our dwarven ale. Help the towns if you can. Says, it's hard for us too, though. Goblin scavengers prowl the tundra on the backs of wolves or in wagons. They like to ambush travelers in the Ten Towns Trail on this side of the mountain pass. Well, a group of trappers found the goblins' fortress in the mountains. Someone should go up there and wreck it.
So it seems that these types of problems occur whether it's winter or summer.
But it's much worse now.
Can I ask this guy if there is any powerful wizard here, or that he knows of one nearby?
Says the only one that we know of is that bastard Valish Gant, and he's locked away in Revel's End.
Okay.
So what's your
ancient wizard?
He is a member of the Arcane Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the Arcane Brotherhood. The Arcane Brotherhood isn't necessarily evil in and of itself, but they are a group of wizards and sorcerers, and I would imagine probably some warlocks too, that they don't have any qualms about having evil members. And they have obscene amounts of magical knowledge available to them.
I just want the freaking flawed egg
you've
out
met
of my chest.
So you've met she is back in town with Rhonda. You've already met a member of the Arcane Brotherhood, the albino tiefling that you rescued from under Caer Konig.
Well, if we go there today, then I'm definitely going to ask the albino tiefling about the slot egg in my chest.
That'd probably be a good idea. Oh, see, now you just released your secret. Everybody knows.
Everybody already knew.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the space herpes.
Yeah. Want it gone.
Yeah.
So...
okay, so we get... I'll talk about locations for goblins, because, I didn't really plan on becoming a warrior in the twilight of my life. All my knowledge and history is trading, and I thought maybe I could do good through trading, but these times they're hard. It looks like
he laughs, and he reaches behind him and kind of under his large stone throne that he's sitting on, and he opens a secret little door on the side of his throne, and he pulls out a bottle, and he says, "How about some fire brandy? And let me tell you a secret about being an adventurer. Sometimes adventure will come find you, and you're called to be a hero, and it doesn't matter how old you are. We don't always get to pick our times."
Well, I don't think I have much time left, and I have a lot to make up for. So, I'm not going to complain that I've got the chance to do something to make up for what I've done in the past. But it just seems strange the way things go. I never really appreciated those that lived by the sword, and now it seems like that's come to be my lot in life.
Sometimes
So
it
where
is
are
the
these-
way.
Yeah. So where are these goblins? And I'll create my little illusionary map and lay it out there and spin it around. And
He points to the foothills of the spine of the world mountains. He tells you these damned goblins have a prison fort that literally clings to the crags of the base of the spine of the world mountains. You'll need climbing gear and some good spiked shoes to get up there.
Okay. And how many? What do you know of this fortification? And I'll zoom in and start talking about
He says,
does it towers?
we don't know much, but it's ramshackle as goblins will be. But I would like to give you and your friends something to help you on your way.
Well, we could use the help. If you got something that can get rid of this arthritis, I'd appreciate that.
Well, maybe not get rid of the arthritis, but it'll definitely help you. I would like to give you a set of boots of the Winterlands.
Oh, I don't know of these these items?
So these are a wondrous item. They are uncommon. They do require attunement.
Okay.
These furred boots are snug and feel quite warm. While you wear them, you gain the following benefits. You have resistance to cold damage. You ignore difficult terrain created by ice or snow. You can tolerate temperatures as low as minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit without any additional protection. If you wear heavy clothes, you can tolerate temperatures as low as minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
That is exactly what an old man needs in this. We have these cold weather gear, and it keeps one alive, but sometimes you wonder if it's worth it when you're out there and the cold is sinking into your bones.
Yes, these will help you.
Well, I will check with the others, but Turpin wants these because he hates the cold.
Yeah. So he
I think
offers
from a combat perspective, the one thing it gives you is resistance to cold. The rest of it, well, we sometimes have terrain.
I mean, basically the rest of it, you could be wearing these boots and a pair of basketball shorts in a blizzard, and as long as it doesn't get below negative 50, you're fine.
I laugh and I recall the story of the guy we came across in Bryn Shander, who, I forget, what did he have that kept him warm? He had a belt?
I think he had a belt and booze.
It was we came across a magic item that he had that kept him warm.
Oh no, he was undead.
Oh, he was undead. That's
right.
What it was. Oh,
yeah.
We thought it was a magic item, but he was just undead.
So, in addition to the goblins at the base of the Spine of the World Mountains, if you want to talk to the wizard, Valish Gant, he's at Revel's End, and I'll tell you where that is.
That's in East Haven?
Revel's End. Revel's End is almost exactly the opposite direction. It is on the misty coast of the Sea of Moving Ice. So the Goblin prison fort is in the crags of the Spine of the World Mountains to the south, and Revel's End is on the coast of the Sea of Moving Ice to the north. It is up to you guys to think about which direction you want to go.
We want to take care of our party member. That's
I think we should stop at where Rhonda and the rest of the party is.
Oh, naturally, you can.
The albino tiefling.
You'll start next session in Caer Konig, and you can talk with.
Fishing.
Yeah, maybe you can go fishing, but you can discuss whether you want to go to Revel's End or to the Goblin Fortress while everybody's together in Caer Konig, and we will pick this up next week.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Been fun this week, guys.
We can address it next week as far as who gets the boots. I don't really care. It's just a role-playing thing to me.
Yeah, I mean,
I already have cold resistance, so
that's true. And so I don't know about Sam.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry we got a late start due to technical difficulties, but I think we got it all figured out. I'm really liking the quality of Skype. It is reminding me why I fucking hated Discord for so long. I mean, I know Alyssa likes Discord, but man, it is a pain in the ass. It really is.
Yeah.
But
sometimes for me, I don't really use it for voice chats.
Yeah, no, no. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So I will give it some thought. Evidently, obviously, we will be on Skype next week. So yeah, I will see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Bye.